Now, just about a week ago, Valve went ahead and did the impossible, removing the Copenhagen stickers from the shop, and it's actually shorter than the time that the Paris major items were in the shop. Now, obviously, the sale was a couple days longer. Today, we're going to be breaking out Copenhagen, everything else going on right now. Now, talking about Copenhagen, it's now in a theoretical position for an investment. Obviously, it's got no more supply coming in, but the numbers are actually quite interesting when we're talking about Copenhagen, especially in the listing area. Now, this is the data of all of the listings right here, and I want to point out a couple big things. First of all, the fact that Copenhagen is the second lowest number on this graph. Specifically, it's only bigger than Rio, and obviously Rio was a very bordered sticker. It didn't look very good. If we want to look at these, it's lower than Antwerp, lower than Stockholm, and significantly lower than Paris. It's only about a third of what we saw for Paris. Now, this does not mean anything super specific. These are the listings on the market, and I want to make that very clear, but it's also a piece of information that's very interesting to track, especially with everything going on with Copenhagen. Now, in a previous video, I talked about how I will be making some sort of investment into Copenhagen, but looking at the overall capsule prices, I think there's just a lot more time that needs to be developed for these capsules to be in a position where I would personally want to put my money into it at the moment. Skinland is today's sponsor, and they're giving you a $10 bonus with code MasterShiny just to try them out. They're my go-to selling spot with the highest rate for sellers, and it's super easy to use. They're going to be currently the best option, paying over 100% when you use that $10 bonus. They're super trusted when it comes to transactions, and it took me just about 2 minutes for me to get my over $200 from this Emerald Jormungandr. They've got tons of different payout options, and they're also going to be having a super low fee buyer's marketplace. It's super easy, tons of deals cheaper than Steam, and tons of different deposit options. This deal won't last forever. Make sure you check them out today with that top link in the description. Now, talking about the overall case market right now, things are going phenomenally well. If you want to look at the past month, we have seen 28.3 million cases unboxed, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's absolutely perfect considering the fact that just a couple weeks ago we weren't in this position, but overall this is a really good number for us being in a little bit of a downturn for content. Couple big things I want to point out. First up, in 2023 we saw 40% of the cases being unboxed be rare cases. Here, especially in the last month, it's about 30%. That's something to keep in mind. Rare cases are down proportionally inside of this graph, but we got to consider the fact is obviously these are a lot more cases being unboxed overall, and rare cases, if we want to look at the price of them, they are in a good position. A lot of them really haven't been doing too much over the past week or so, but they are on an increasing trajectory in the past month, and a lot of them are sitting in a relatively good position moving forward. These are cases that are going to continually be decreasing in supply, and one important thing to note is these numbers are often skewed by the actual amount of brand new cases coming into the game, because when a brand new case comes in, it kicks a new case into the rare drop pool, and therefore that case is still being unboxed at an active duty level for a period after that. We really haven't seen that so far in 2024. We only saw the snakebite case get removed. Talking then about some of these older rare cases, I still think they're in a very idealistic situation. Obviously, not all of them have really been seeing too much movement up or down over the past month. They've been a little bit stagnant, maybe up 3%, not anything crazy, but this is really good when we're talking about the fact that these cases are being unboxed a lot. That's the big thing I want to look at, unboxing numbers for these older rare cases, because these are the ones that are going to skyrocket overnight whenever we see some sort of hype come into the game. These are the cases that are going to go, and right now the fact that they're sitting stagnant but still seeing consistent unboxing numbers is a really good sign for investors. Over the past week, there's also been some pretty interesting updates. The first one is going to be this thing called Snap Tap. You've probably seen a lot about it, but the fact that Valve is not allowing it to be playable in their games. Now, I find this very interesting for a couple different reasons. First up, if they're able to detect it this easy, why is cheating such a big problem inside of the game? We've seen it time and time again where people are consistently running into cheaters, and this is what specifically Valve is focusing on right now. Obviously, they just released or have started to release VACnet 3.0, and it's something that is definitely needed if it's going to actually make that difference there. Obviously, we don't know for certain. Otherwise, it seems like Valve is working pretty hard behind the scenes to bring out some brand new content, one of which is going to be the fact that we've seen a potential Danger Zone resurgence. We talked a little bit about how Danger Zone doesn't seem to be coming back. Now it potentially is. We've got a brand new string of code. Then we also have this tweet from Price Empire right here talking about a potential prop hunt game mode. Now, I don't really care too much about it specifically. The big thing is if we see a major update like this, it's almost guaranteed to come with an operation in my personal mind. There's no way Valve would add all of these brand new game modes or all of this brand new things without adding brand new content. Obviously, if we want to look at the money, which we will in a second, Valve has been dominating inside of CS with the money. Why would they change it up now? Now, talking about brand new content on the horizon, unfortunately talking about an operation, even though we are significantly overdue by this theoretical standard, it doesn't seem like it's too likely, at least at this point, with the Shanghai major on the horizon. I think it's very unlikely that if we don't see it in the next couple of months, it's probably not going to be happening very close to that major. If we're talking about a brand new case though, we are starting to approach the timeline where I think it's a very possible situation. Obviously, it's been over 6 months since we've seen that brand new case. Unfortunately for 2023, we did only see one case come out then, and that was the Revolution, which obviously is not the greatest look for the overall case market, but we did just see one brand new piece of information for content-wise. That's going to be the Masterminds music kit, I believe it is. Who cares? Honestly, it's very disappointing that Valve is consistently coming out with these brand new music kits, and it's just frustrating because most of these are completely useless if we want to look at them. Most of them are coming from creators that have no following at all, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when you're consistently doing that, it makes it seem like a significant money grab in my personal opinion. And specifically, keep it on that topic of Valve's money, if we want to look at this right here coming out from Game Discovery Company, we can see the top games by gross revenue in 2024, and Counter-Strike 2 is in the #1 position at $610 million. Now this is just for the first 6 months of the year, and I want to make it very clear, there was nothing happening inside of Counter-Strike during this time other than the Copenhagen major, if you could even call it that, and that was towards the end. There was a lot of money being pumped into the game for absolutely nothing. If we want to look at 2023, guess how much was generated by Counter-Strike during that period? It was $1 billion over the entirety of the year. First half of 2024, we're on par for it, and there's been nothing going on. Case unboxing numbers have been lower this year. There's been no new content coming into the game. Valve is in the most prime position that any game company could ever ask for, because they have the perfect opportunity to make a ton of money just by releasing some ounce of content. Their players are desperate for it, and yet right now it seems like they're more worried about coming out with a brand new music kit than anything else. I'm really hopeful about the next 6 months because I think it's going to be very strong, but the past 6 months have really let down a lot of people. They will come back though. If you want to look at the player numbers, people always come back to the game. They just take breaks, but it's definitely interesting to see the fact that Counter-Strike 2 is still #1 and doing numbers over Dota 2. Now talking about some unfortunate developments, there has been a lot of Gamba coming into the scene. Obviously, you know this is something that has been a pretty normal situation, unfortunately. The biggest one I want to point out is a website called CSGO Stash has just been bought out by this website right here. I'm not even going to name them, but it's very unfortunate to see. If you do want an alternative, because obviously I do not support this in any way, I highly suggest you check out CSGO Database. They're one that I have consistently used inside of my videos, and it's pretty much a one-to-one replica of everything that CSGO Stash has because it's just got the information and it actually loads up relatively quickly. Now obviously they went ahead and bought out the whole site, but if you're wondering how much they're going to be paying your favorite creator to go ahead and partner with them, it's very dependent on the specific sites, but I can give you what I've been offered. First up, if we're talking about a full video, it ranges significantly, but at bare minimum you're going to be walking away with about $1,500 to $2,500 for most reputable sites that are actually offering up a decent amount. Specifically, it's not going to be the most amount of money because a lot of this is baked into affiliates and referrals, and that's specifically how they set up the deals, but there's a decent amount of money to be made if that's specifically the route you want to go down. Now talking about the prices you're going to be seeing for an integration, a lot of the sites that are honestly out there trying to scam you are probably trying to scam your creators as well. They are offering extremely low rates. Usually for an integration, you're looking at maybe $500 to $1,000 per video. Usually it's raked into about a 5 to 6 video deal, maybe about $5,000 to $6,000 inside of this area, with obviously affiliates coming in on top of that. Now this is a significant amount of money for someone that wants to take up these deals. Obviously I'm not trying to do that. I think that's a really bad move, especially considering this channel is literally investing. You're not going to be making money inside of this area. The only people that are going to be making money is obviously the one promoting it and the website that's holding it. Now talking about specifically what I'm doing right now, first up, I'm not making any Copenhagen investments. I don't think it's a smart move in the current market. They need a lot more time to develop. Talking about the case market, I definitely think it's a good opportunity if you don't have any case investments, but I'm not going to be making more case investments at the current moment. Overall, I'm just getting my money situated, getting all my investments ready to know what I want to do when the next update or operation comes around. That's all I got. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.